Good morning, people of the Facebook Live. It's Gifford here from killercontentacademy.com, and I want to talk about how to create content for your business without going insane. So this is something that I hear all the time from my clients and from my audience and from my tribe of peeps, that actually creating content for your business can feel really overwhelming. It's really hard to know where to start. There's not enough time in the day. So perhaps you might have some questions around how to fit it into your schedule. I'm going to get myself a little bit more settled here. How to create content without procrastinating. I hear all the time around, if you're working with clients all the time, how do you find time in your schedule to actually sit down and create stuff which will get you more clients? How do you create space in your workflow to get that stuff out into the world and working for you? And a lot of businesses don't have the resources yet to outsource, and a lot of people don't want to. So I have loads of tips and tricks around how to work smart to get your content out into the world. I'm just going to check that I am broadcasting live from my page. Okay. Okay. Hey, Emma Ward, procrastination queen. I do not believe it. Hi, Joanna. Lovely to see you. So Emma, what is it that gets you super stuck and procrastinating on your content? Hi, Lucy. No problem at all. Welcome. So I'd love to know what it is that you guys experience that stops you from just jumping on a Facebook Live, or from setting aside some time to blog, or from creating visual content. A lot of the time, there's the stuff I hear is it might be around not knowing how to use the tools, or perhaps you're kind of not really sure what to say. All this stuff is fine. There's no judgment around it, because we're all busy business owners. We're usually out there doing what we do best. And it just so happens to be that, content creation is what I do best, and I'm here to help with that stuff. So, there's no kind of sense of failure around not making time for it, or feeling overwhelmed, or procrastinating. I just want to really show you some tips and tricks that will help you get this stuff done much faster. So I know that Emma said that, procrastination is a big thing. Okay, so Emma, this is probably something that's really common for lots of people as well. So I'm going to jump on that. It's getting started and knowing where to start. So, and once you have that momentum going, you're kind of in the flow and you can create some content and you're kind of in your jam. And okay, so knowing where to start is crucial. And I actually created a few resources which will really help you with this one. And I'm actually going to share that with you. I'm going to log on into my Google Drive and share that. I've created something called the 10 by 10 idea generation hack for content. And this is a super quick, laser focused way to get you unlocked and unstuck with knowing what to say. Because I find there's two main factors that stop people from starting to kind of get into that groove of getting their message out. One is knowing what to say, and two is finding the space to actually do it, and a workflow that works well for you. So let me get my 10 by 10 quick start content planner. Here we go. So it really helps. I'm going to put the link in the video below of this super smart content creation trick, which I use with my clients. I've shared it in the Killer Content Academy. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can copy and paste that below underneath this video right now. But it takes you through 10 questions. And you list 10 things. So it might start with 10 things you've learned recently, 10 things which are new in your industry or your sector, 10 things which are in the news right now. Hi, Antonia. It might be, what else do we have on there? 10 things that your clients need help with, 10 things that are unique to you and your experience, 10 things that you've worked on recently. And what really helps is that when you list down all these things, it doesn't have to be 10 under each trigger, but what you find is you start to unlock some ideas, and then you can use these as a matrix. So you can link up 10 things that are unique to you and your experience versus 10 things you've worked on recently. Hi, Kerry. Thanks so much, Antonia. That's brilliant. And what you'll find is that you'll end up literally, guys, if you give me 20 minutes of using this hack, and I'm going to challenge you to do it. Oh, Antonia, this is going to help you so much. If you just give yourselves and give me 20 minutes of this hack, then I guarantee you that you will come out with so many ideas. What I'm going to do right now is pop this beneath the Facebook Live video that's on my Facebook page. So this one you're watching here, it might be streaming to my personal page as well because I have Live Leap. But let me just put it beneath right now. Obviously, you're going to be listening to me as opposed to going to look at the hack right now. Thanks, Sam. So this is a Google Doc sheet right here, right? And you can make your own copy of that. So that one should be read only, and you'll see it beneath my little video here. So I want that's read only. So you can view it, so you can save it into your own Google Drive, and you'll be able to go ahead and use it. And this is like a micro version of a bigger framework that I use called the Map and Go Matrix. So, and the Map and Go Matrix is a 6 video series, which is awesome. And it takes you through kickstarting your ideas. So from, really digging into who you are and what your message is. So for example, guys, everything that you've ever worked on, everything that you've ever learned, everything that you've experienced, all the things that make you, bring your unique message to your business. So, for example, the fact that I am a graphic designer and a blogger and a copywriter and I've taught and I'm a mum and I work for myself, all this stuff makes the Jo Gifford experience not only very colourful of the hair, but also it makes me who I am. And so what I bring to my experience when you work with me or purchase my stuff is very different from what you would get if you go to someone else. It doesn't mean that anybody else is wrong, that I'm entirely right, although obviously we know that's the case. It just means that the Jo Gifford experience is unique in that way. And people often say, but, someone else is talking about this stuff as well. It's like, well, that's amazing. And once you know how to bring your unique experience to it, then you can really stand in your own power and be super confident. And then when you add in loads of tips and tricks to just generate ideas so quickly, and I want to hear from you, Antonina and Sam, particularly if you have used this, when you have a little go on the spreadsheet there and generate some ideas, you'll find super, super quickly you can have ideas generated for content for like the next few months in 20 minutes. And then what you can do is go back in, refine, look at what at what would be great to work up as a blog post. You can build in the back end of stuff afterwards. You can really dig deep into how to raise your SEO, into how to use visual content, into how to reach influencers. All that stuff can come. But the thing is, if you're really stuck and you're in that procrastination zone, in procrastination city, then it's not going to get you very far. You can have all the tools in your toolkit, but if you haven't kickstarted that idea generation part of it, then you're just going to be stuck. So I'm going to share as well a blog post. Can you hear my husky voice now? My man flu from this week has been kicking me into touch. So I'm going to share the killercontentacademy.com website. No worries, Sam. I want to hear how you get on. And the 10 by 10 creation hacks, there's a whole blog post on there as well, which walks you through the process. And then what I've actually done is I've taught that process as a webinar. So, which in itself, if we're going to be super meta about it, is that I've taken one post on my blog, I've repurposed it as a tool, I've repurposed it as a webinar, I've repurposed it now, even I'm talking about it in Facebook Live. So you'll find out that once you have one thing that really works for you, you can work over and over again. So Emma, how long does the average post take me? It depends what I'm working on, in all honesty. So for example, if I'm working on, say, a short blog post for a client, then I might, it might take me an hour. Sometimes I dictate my posts. If it's stuff that I know really well, then I dictate my posts onto my iPhone, and I send it off to rev.com to be transcribed, and I make edits after that. So between an hour to an hour and a half. However, if I'm building a really juicy, long form, link building, authority building post, that might take me days. But so I do those ones less and they have more impact. So for example, if you go to killercontentacademy.com, you'll see on the top there's one called Content Hacks. And that is a specifically designed page. It's got loads of links in there. It required more copywriting. It required more designing. There's a content upgrade. So that kind of stuff would take me longer. But equally, you can jump, if you're confident enough to do it, you can jump on something like Facebook Live or Periscope or YouTube, or just record a video for yourself with no live pressure. Oh my goodness, with no live pressure. And you can then have this transcribed. So for example, if I chose to, I could repurpose this video right now, which would be answering some questions with some coughs in it. I'd have to drink some tea. So, and that's the thing, if you work out, so if we're taking Emma's example, Emma, if you don't mind, I'm going to work with you still for a little while. If you're kind of really stuck and now you've generated some ideas using the hack that I just put down below, it would be a great thing to identify when exactly in your day or in your week in general you are cooking on gas. When do you wake up and go, yes, I'm going to have my coffee now and I'm going to nail some content, I'm going to nail a blog post? If now I'm a mum as well, so if that's not the case, then you might find at least a preferred time of day or week. So what I tend to do is on a Monday morning, that will be my right, I'm going to jump on and get a post done, or I will carve out some time in my schedule that is, you know, that is all the tabs are closed on everything else. I've got my focus music in, I'm writing that blog post. And when I'm writing for clients, obviously, because I do this, you know, one-to-one as well, it's not just for me. If I'm writing for clients, it's the same story. It's like, right, I need to work out how to get myself in that zone really quickly. And that's part of knowing how to ignite your own brilliance. The Miracle Morning is amazing. It's such a good thing to do. I find it very difficult in the sort of autumn winter months. But even if you do the Miracle Morning practice throughout the day and just find that time for yourself, it's really hard. You know, I know that Emma's certainly got like a little one. It's really hard. But even if you just commit to start off with 1 hour on one day and see how far you get done. And it's far better to start than to never start at all. So it might be that, you know, you commit that next week you're going to do 1 hour and you're going to see how far you get with a blog post from those list of ideas. It might be that the week after you say, right, do you know what, I'm going to try and jump on like a Facebook Live, or I'm going to record myself a video, or I'm going to try recording audio and see if I flow better that way. A lot of it is finding your flow and finding the way that works for you really well. So some people, like me, I talk a lot. I can jam things out live, or I can talk on a podcast, or I can do interviews, and I find that ideas flow to me quite quickly, and then I can have those transcribed and I can edit it. Some people prefer to maybe even note things down in long form first and then jump in and type around it. So it's what works for you. It might be that that sort of writing is not for you at all. It might be that audio or video is totally your thing, or it might be that you have a combination which works really well for you. So I would say start by making some time. So use the hack to get some ideas, set aside some time, even if it's the tiniest of chunk, even if you're starting really small and it's 15 minutes, just start there and then delve into experimenting with your flow and how you work best. Oh, that's amazing. So they have a version for families. That's so good. So Kerry, you're a former resident of Procrastination City and you visit every now and again. Do you know what, Kerry? So am I. I still, and we always teach what we need to learn, don't we? I often get back to that, and it's part of being human. I teach this stuff. I work with clients all the time on working smarter. I create content for other people and for myself. And sometimes you're just not in the zone. And I was writing about this recently, that in my previous actual job, when I had a job as a graphic designer and a team manager, I was really aware that I was being paid to be creative every hour. So I was being paid to come up with concepts and ideas by the hour, usually with a deadline. And the thing is that when you are self-employed and there's no actual deadline like around that blog post, there's no, if it's your stuff, there's no actual deadline around when that needs to go out. That kind of need to, to kind of foster that kind of really fast reaction to, getting things done and getting things done on time and putting yourself in a creative state really quickly. It's something which needs nurturing. So I also recommend, as you guys know who know me well, that I like to find my zone by, I will use my headphones. I will use Spotify playlists, either some focus ones, some chill out ones. I love binaural beats that get me, that help to get my brain in the zone. And you only need 7 minutes of binaural beats looking at I think it's the alpha wave sort of patterns on YouTube will really help your brain to focus. Sometimes you might need something like a fresh coffee or a banana, or it's like, if the food, the drink, the environment that you're working in will really help you as well. So for example, I know when my ones were tiny, my twins were tiny, it was really hard to focus kind of, in an office where there's like nappies everywhere maybe, or there's kind of, you need to get yourself maybe out of the house, maybe in a coffee shop, maybe in your office, somewhere where you can just sit and focus, use whatever musical or sort of neural pathway stimulators will help you, and then set yourself the task of starting. So that's what I would totally recommend. Emma, I'm going to totally check out the Miracle Morning version for families. That sounds amazing. So if anyone's still on who has a question around how to get started with content or how to use some hacks to get your brain going, then feel free to hit me up before I jump off for Facebook Live. But I will leave some more links below as well that you guys can access. Hi, Kerry. You struggle to fit in client work with minimal childcare, let alone create posts. Do you think there are child-friendly content creating? Yes, absolutely. Right. And this is, oh my goodness, do I hear you on this one? Well done, Emma. Off you go to do exercise. Awesome. Kerry, I totally understand. Hi, Naya. No problem at all. So fitting in client work with minimal childcare, let alone doing posts for yourself. Again, I would start super small on this one. Now, you, Kerry, are the PR queen. You know how to repurpose content. You know already how to generate stories. So your case will be slightly different in that you will already be able to have that creative process in your brain. So it might be that you set aside sort of 10 minutes to brainstorm what you need, what your clients need to hear from you. And Kerry, here's what I'm going to question you with. Do you work best when you're kind of isolated and writing and focused, or do you work best if you're on the spot like this? So if you did a Facebook Live, or if you did, for example, a video, or you could, maybe sort of narrate some audio while you're driving. So here's a little kind of anecdote for you guys. I spoke about this recently and shared it with my list. I was having one of those days, and client work was busy. I had to get 2 blog posts done for one of my clients, and I also had the school pickup to do, all this kind of stuff. Had the shopping to pick up, so we had something to eat. And I jumped in the car, and I knew roughly what I was going to say for these blog posts. And in the 10 minutes that it took me to drive to the supermarket, I'd narrated roughly sort of 2 blog posts. And I used Voxer for that, but you could also use just your kind of your iPhone audio notes. And I got to Tesco's, and before doing my shopping, I sat in the coffee shop and uploaded those files to rev.com. I did my shopping, I did my school run, I came back. I had dinner with the kids, and later on I had 2 files that I could edit and perfect, and the whole process probably took me an hour for 2 blog posts, with pieces in between. I don't do that all the time. Sometimes I work better if I need to research stuff, I need to be kind of in the zone. It depends what kind of blog post or piece of content that I'm working on. But if you can find, Kerry, a way that works so well for you, that's like your go-to. So if you know that time is tight, it might be that you build a content creation schedule that maybe is 1 really bumper post every month, and some shorter posts or shorter videos that that you can repurpose. So it's about finding a way that works really well for you, and finding a way that you can create it consistently without going insane. Also, you might want to try sort of batching. So batching stuff is such a good way to be in the zone for maybe 1 day and nail a few blog posts and a few videos. And what I don't recommend, and I know they teach this on some courses, I think it might, it might be B School. I didn't do B School, so I don't know. But I've heard in corners of the interwebs that people talk about writing your blog posts for a whole year, and for scheduling your newsletters for a whole year. I don't recommend doing that at all. At the very most, I recommend doing like a month, or even perhaps a month to 6 weeks ahead. And I'll tell you why. Because you need to be kind of ears to the ground, and at the grassroots level of what's going on in your niche and your industry. If you schedule stuff a year in advance, it's going to be pretty poor quality because you're just getting it done for the sake of getting it done. And B, you might be talking about stuff that isn't relevant, or or there might be some nuances there that you need to be aware of, or maybe something something kind of culturally has changed within your industry or within the news. So if you are going to batch stuff, I would recommend doing it a few weeks in advance, not ages in advance, but certainly maybe look at setting aside an afternoon or a day that is purely for your content. And I happen to know that the lovely Kerry went to work in a spa this week on her book, and this is something which I do once a month as well, is I just take my and I just kind of brainstorm some ideas. I map out some products. It might be that you use a spa day occasionally, or even a spa afternoon where you're away from your usual environment, to note down some ideas and then use that time to be away from all the rest of the noise and the client work and stuff like that. So was that helpful, Kerry? I hope that was something which you can use. And if you do use any of those things, obviously let me know. I'd love to hear how you get on. So any more questions before I jump off and go and brew a massive coffee? Nia, thank you so much. I'm pleased you found that really helpful. Hi, Sarah. Nice to see you here. Okay, well, I think unless anyone else is typing, then I am going to leave you guys for now. Okay, well, listen, have an awesome Friday. Let me know in the comments below if you try stuff, and definitely check out the killercontentacademy.com. There's loads of content hacks on there, loads of information, and I can't wait to hear how you get on. All right, guys, bye.